What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical average American here today to react and continue learning about British drinking culture. This is part 2. If you didn't see the part 1 video of this, feel free to go check that out, or just stay on this video and check this one out. In the first video, I was learning, finally, more about pubs, how they're very different than bars in America. About rounds, paying for rounds of drinks in British drinking culture and how that's important and somewhat efficient and logical in many ways. And basically all sorts of these random little tidbits, and even a little tidbit about when your friends in Britain are trying to tell you that we're going to the pub to drink or to drink and get food, which apparently can be different. Anyway, that's the level of specificity that I am here for. I'm very much enjoying the British drinking culture lessons, so let us continue with this final part of the video.
Now, another thing I've noticed about the drinking culture here in the UK is it is really easy to buy alcohol. It's pretty much everywhere.
You know, from what little I know about like other countries, maybe in Europe and around the world, it's definitely not always that easy to get alcohol, but I have to say, in this particular instance, when comparing America and Britain and alcohol, we're very similar. Finally, something that we can agree on. It is outrageously easy to get alcohol in America. It's everywhere. They make it very easy. So I didn't know that about Britain as well, honestly.
Stores, shops, corner shops, little convenience stores.
Yeah.
I went to Brighton recently. If you want to watch that video, it's on my Patreon. But I trained into Brighton, and I got off the train. I'm still in the train station. And I realized I probably should buy more alcohol. It was for a hen do. Okay, thought I have a bottle of Prosecco in my bag, but I probably should get some more. I went into the little Marks and Spencer. So for people who aren't watching, it was it's a grocery store, but it was the size of a convenience store in the train station.
Okay.
And one whole wall.
Oh, okay. So she's saying that in a random train station, and even in a tiny little convenience store, in a random train station, still she's able to find an outrageous selection of alcohol. I gotta say, it makes it sound like Britain likes its alcohol. They like it. And Americans do as well. And, for all our differences, this is one thing we can agree on. Make the alcohol everywhere. Available everywhere.
Was alcohol. All different wines and beers and ciders and mixed drinks just covered the wall.
Yeah.
And you could literally just get off your train, buy alcohol, and be on your way. Which is awesome.
Okay, that does actually, when you phrase it like that, maybe it is a little tiny bit, I hate to admit this, but it sounds like maybe alcohol somehow is a little more available in Britain, because that level of, hopping off the train and there being alcohol in the corner store, that, I really want to say that we're equal on this, but Britain might actually take this one.
Now, in Canada, and specifically in Ontario, they're really weird about selling alcohol. So I don't know all the regulations and the rules behind why this is. I'm not going to pretend that I know. You can do your own research. If you come on YouTube for research, you need to check your priorities.
Yeah, I mean, lots of countries all around the world have such drastically different levels of how easy it is to buy alcohol. I know that for sure. I mean, even in America, in many, many, many places, you cannot even purchase alcohol on a Sunday, which is some kind of very old law, but it's still in effect for the most part. So there is stuff like that. I wonder if there's anything quite like that in Britain as well.
Anyway, I probably should have done this one before I started drinking because I don't know how to explain it anymore. Pull it together. So in Ontario, we have the Liquor Control Board of Ontario. It's an actual shop. So if you want to buy alcohol, you go to the LCBO. You can buy wine, spirits, beer, mixed drinks, all that kind of stuff through an LCBO. Now, we also
Huh.
have another store called the Beer Store,
the, be- the beer store. Okay. Yeah. Why wouldn't there be?
which you can get beer from, surprisingly. And up until recently, those were kind of the two only places that you could readily buy alcohol. Recently, I know some grocery stores in Ontario have started selling like wine and beer as like a trial.
Huh.
So not every grocery store is doing it, only select few.
I didn't know that about Canada is what she's talking about. I didn't know that because in America you can get alcohol at any grocery store ever. Like it'd be weird if you could not. And then there's a bunch of liquor stores everywhere, basically. That's really interesting. I know. Well, she's also saying that in Canada there's like government owned and funded places that sell alcohol, like the government of Ontario, I think she was saying. I know in Norway they have like government controlled alcohol sales. You can only get it from one store that the government controls. So that's more common than I ever really realized. Makes me really appreciate old America and Britain for that matter.
I know they're trying to roll it out a bit more sort of as we go on, but it can be really difficult to buy alcohol. Just harder to get.
Huh.
So say you're having a party, you go to the grocery store to buy all your food and your snacks and what have you. You then have to also then drive to an LCBO or a beer store to get your alcohol. Just it's another trip.
So, from her point of view, the abundance of alcohol in Britain is like a big treat. It's very interesting and new. From my point of view as an American, it'd just be kind of like normal. It'd just be normal.
In the car. Fun. And finally, one of the observations about the British drinking culture. I can't remember. Okay, no, I got it. Okay, so the last one is getting carded. Now, I'm not totally sure what the terminology would be here in the UK. For a Canadian, when you are trying to buy alcohol and they're not sure how old you are, you get carded.
Yes.
Now, in the
Yes. Absolutely. She is not about to say that you don't get carded in Britain. There's no way. There's no way. What is the legal drinking age in Britain? I don't even remember that. Gosh. Yeah, but if you go into any establishment in America and try to buy alcohol, they will always ask for your ID to prove your age, no matter how old you are, honestly. Even if you're obviously older than 21, they will still ask for it because you can get in a lot of trouble for selling alcohol to someone who's underage. You can get in a lot of trouble. So that basically incentivizes every worker to check to make sure.
UK, I don't think I've ever been carded. Maybe at the beginning when I first moved here.
She's hardly ever been carded in the UK, as in showing your card, your ID to prove your age. That doesn't happen in the UK? What is this? What's going on? Well, let me look up the drinking age. Hold the phone. Drinking age, Britain. Oh, Britain. I gotta get to the bottom of this. 18, right? 18. So younger than America, but still 18. It's kind of hard to tell when someone's 18. They could be 17, 16, and look 18. Yet you don't card them, or huh?
Are trying to buy alcohol and they're not sure how old you are, you get carded. Now, in the UK, I don't think I've ever been carded. Maybe at the beginning when I first moved here. And not really since. Now, I'm not going to
Really?
tell you how old I am, but let's just say mid to late 20s. And yeah, carding just doesn't really happen here in the UK. I feel like they're a bit more relaxed about it.
Oh, it sounds like basically what a lot of people in America complain about is when you obviously look older, then there's no reason to card you. Now in America, there's so many laws that can punish you if you mess this up. People will card you no matter your age, basically. A lot of the time, they'll still card you, even if you're obviously older than 21. In the UK, since it's 18, man, that still would be kind of hard to tell at times. I guess it's just a more relaxed culture about it.
You can buy alcohol so many different places, and it's just kind of, pretty easy. Now, as you can imagine, in Canada, after just talking about it's really hard to buy alcohol, they also are very weird about carding you. So anytime I buy alcohol in Canada, specifically in Ontario, I get carded.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Yes.
Actually, the last time I went back to Canada, we went to a sports bar. And I was with my parents and my parents' friends. So it was quite, an older group, if you will.
Yeah, even if you're older, they'll card you. I mean, Americans have just gotten used to this. It's just normal. Like, it'd be strange if someone didn't card me. I'd be like, what? What's going on? Are we going to get in trouble here? Like, sounds very similar in Canada, actually.
And we were all sitting outside on a patio, and we all ordered a local beer to the area, and they carded me, and I didn't have my wallet, so I had no ID, and I was like, I'm really sorry. This was the year I was born. I mean, I'm with my family. I'm very much of the legal drinking age, and she was like, nah, if you don't have ID, I can't serve you.
Yeah, well, they can get in, like, legal trouble if they do that, so I kind of get it.
Fun stuff. So I just find that Ontario specifically is a bit weird about buying alcohol and about getting carded for alcohol.
Okay.
I mean, weed is legal, and yet we struggle just to buy alcohol.
That is strange. When you put it that way, that is strange, actually, to come to think of it, about Canada. But yeah, in America, it's not seen as weird to be carded. It's just normal.
It's just the way it is. I guess as a side note, this isn't really an observation, but the legal drinking age in England is 18.
Yeah.
And in Ontario, it is 19. The
Okay.
drinking age in Canada is a provincial law, so each province can set their own, age, basically. I think Quebec is younger. I don't know if anything's over 19, but for Ontario, at least, it is 19.
Wow, America's the only one here. We're the only ones in America making it 21 for some reason. You have to be over 21, till you can buy alcohol. Although, many Americans do not faithfully end up abiding by that. But I won't get into that. But that's kind of the result of such a high age for drinking.
Now, I just thought of this, and I don't know if it's useful. Weeks ago, I did a video on the North versus South divide in the UK, and one of the stereotypes that we talked about is that some Brits believe that Northerners drink way more than in the South. So
Okay.
maybe, we could add that in here. Maybe the stereotype that Northerners are heavier drinkers in terms of like a drinking culture. It's more prominent up north.
Is that
Maybe.
okay?
I
didn't know about
you gotta
that.
find a way to keep warm up there.
I didn't know about that at all. That's kind of funny to me.
And I guess they're just turning to alcohol. So those are some of my observations about the drinking culture here in the UK. I'd love to know your opinions, especially if you've been to Canada and you can kind of compare the two. It's interesting. I can't begin to tell you how many burps I have edited out of this video. Just thank me for removing them because...
Okay. On that note, I think we'll stop on the burps. Oh, this is good. This was very good. This video was by Adventures and Naps. I love her videos. They're fantastic. I give this a like. Canada has a lot of similarities with America, so it's very useful for me when she's comparing Canada to Britain, such as in this video. But in this case, there was some similarities here in this that were actually more similar between America and Britain. Now, I think British drinking culture as a whole is this unique, fascinating cultural phenomenon that it's a life of its own. It's very different than America, particularly with the pub and the pub culture and the camaraderie and the heavy drinking and the lower drinking age, and just there's a bunch of stuff where, yeah, British drinking culture, it is different than America, but it's fun to learn about. It's very interesting to learn about these differences because I view our cultures as so similar a lot of the time, and yet there's such specific little fun things that are different like this. Anyway, I enjoyed this. If you enjoyed this video as well, feel free to give it a like or leave a comment. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Britain, British culture, things about Britain that I've never seen or learned before, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.